Welcome everybody to our bonus training. Nice to see you. For those of you who don't know, I'm Stephanie Bonti-LeBear, and I will be co-training tonight's bonus call along with Scott and Cheri. So welcome, welcome. Thank you for being on time. Thank you for those who came early and tapped into your inner blueprint and were in the waiting room several minutes before we started. You make my inner blueprint happy, even though it's last.
What she's really saying is 2 minutes before we started, she's like, Cheri, are you joining? I'm like, yes, I'll be right there. I had to spend a little bit of time with my son before he went down for his nap. So that's what I was doing.
You look very beautiful, Cheri. I mean, look at you, all beautiful.
Well, I mean, look, I just spent time with this little guy right here. I mean, come on. Like, we sat him in the chair and he literally posed like that automatically. I thought, wow, there's a future CEO right there.
That's it.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. Well, go ahead and type in the chat box where are you calling in from. So it's just good to know, who do we have in the room? Where are you calling in from? We've got, oh yeah, Patty's here. Patty's in the house, another fellow action. Atlanta, Kansas, Phoenix, Orlando, Castle Rock, Virginia, St. Louis, Chestertown, California, South Carolina, Maryland. Maryland's in the house. That's where I'm from. Quebec, Texas, Jamaica. I always say that when I see the Jamaica. I like to sing it. I don't just say it. I'm so glad everybody's here. I would love to know your biggest takeaway from last night. What is your biggest takeaway? Go ahead and raise your electronic hand. We'll have a couple people just come out and share. What was their biggest takeaway from last night? Just a couple people who want to get on the microphone. Peg Duchesne, come on out.
My biggest takeaway was when Cheri said, Scott, you are such a stud. That was the key quote for the night.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Peg. Teresa, what was your biggest takeaway?
You just made Scott blush. And Scott, I saw the top of your head turn red.
Yeah, everything ended up turning red there.
Is that a new sweatshirt or is that a repeat?
No, I have like 4 or 5. So it's a new one for
So you're like Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs.
Yeah. I have a closet full of hoodies.
Just for everyone here, I thought I'd wear something different tonight.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I have a different shirt underneath.
I love you, dude.
All right, Teresa, come on out. What was your biggest takeaway?
Yeah, my biggest takeaway was when Scott said that LinkedIn is 277 times more powerful than Facebook for lead generation.
Yeah, that's where we want to be hanging out, I'm pretty sure. Thank you for sharing. Patty, come on out.
I had so many, but I'm going to say that my biggest one was when at the end, Cheri was really like, and literally I've seen it, I don't know how many times, but I missed the part where when she was doing the reply and then changing it up and then it would say, oh, this, and then great job. And that it was like having Cheri whisper in our ear at what to say. And I just thought to myself, where in the world for the price this costs could you actually have that? And so to me, that's like, come on, people, like that's just the biggest, like really, where could you get somebody who's a multimillionaire that's in your ear telling you what to say until you get a high five, great job. I mean,
yes. So true. I have that window open all day long when I'm doing business. I have my Codebreaker AI open so I can double check before I send important correspondence of any kind, just to say, Cheri, is this what I should say? And then she's like, yes. So thanks, Patty. Andy, come on out.
Hey guys. I really appreciate the merging of these two programs. I've been using Scott's LinkedIn program for a while, so I just love these. Seem like they blend together really well, as you probably obviously you guys noticed. And this AI technology is just like blowing my mind. So I love this opportunity to speak to people in a way they can hear us, and makes it better for everybody.
Thank you, Andy, for sharing that. I agree wholeheartedly. So glad. Scott, do you want to say something?
I do. And I just want to, I was talking about this with my wife, and I just have to give Cheri a lot of credit because, for me and a lot of my friends and clients that are on here now, they know one of my favorite books is Go for No, by Andrea Waltz and Richard Fenton. Andrea is a good friend of mine. She's, written, she's helped me with, quoting with books and part of what I latched on to was that numbers game aspect, right? No leads to yes. Yes, that is the destination, but no is how you're going to get there. And my biggest takeaway, and Nancy even said to me, she could tell that she could look in my face when she was watching me on the training that my wheels were just turning. And it's yes is the destination, and yes is how you're going to get there. It's yes leads to yes. And that's, for me, again, it doesn't have to be a numbers game. It can be a communication game. And when you're talking to the right people the right way, and it's not about mirroring and matching, it's really about understanding what makes that person tick, what gets them to buy, because the most of the time when someone is saying no, the adage is, oh, they're not saying, no to you. It's just not the right time. I don't necessarily agree with that anymore, because if you're able to speak to that person the right way, it could be a yes every single time. Every single time you talk to a certain individual can be the right time. And that was my biggest takeaway from last night.
And you know what, Scott, is so true. I actually have a story where I went 30 days without a no in my business.
Wow.
And it was a game that I played. It was when I was still a singing teacher. I was still coaching singers. It was right when I joined as a bank trainer and I was learning bank. I was still coaching a lot of singers. And I had a December month where I had I had 7 prospect calls. Okay, 7 serious prospect calls. I'm not talking about you talk to somebody at a networking event and whatever, but 7 serious prospect calls, and all 7 of them said yes that month. In December, when most people, when their businesses are kind of slowing down for the holidays, right? And people are like, well, I'll start again in the new year. I brought in over $10,000 in my singing business that month, which for me at the time was huge money. It was oh my gosh, singing teacher makes 10 grand. That's awesome. So I have to tell you that it is possible. It is possible to have periods of time where you get 100% close rate. So thanks for pointing that out. Let's just take a couple more. I see Jody has her hand up.
Okay, there
you go.
See. Okay, hi. Let me see if I can. Okay, so I just wanted to piggyback on what Scott was saying. So I'm pretty new to doing the business and network marketing, and it's the same kind of cliche where everyone says, "Oh, go for the no's." It's the more people you talk to, the more no's you're going to get, but the closer you get to the yeses. So when I heard Cheri saying that yesterday, that I just knew this is a game changer, because I knew there had to be a different way, because in some of my other trainings, I would hear, say, just really digging in your heels and saying that you're going to, talk to as many people as you can and just get through those no's till you get to the yeses. It wasn't resonating with me. It wasn't in alignment with me. So I I knew there had to be a different way. And now I found it, and I'm so excited. I cannot imagine what this is going to do for just starting out a business this way. And I'm super excited now that I know that there's a way to navigate, because I know that for me, my communication skills are pretty effective, in which I can talk to a lot of different people. And I know that how they can, you get your few that are kind of a little different, if you will, but usually I can have a conversation with many people, and I can get information like it's nothing, but it's closing the sale and getting the deal. But this is just going to just supplement it, and to go in there with with the right armor. I'm super excited. So I just wanted to go on with what Scott was saying, that I knew that it can't be a numbers game, but there is a way to communicate and say, okay, let me read this person and figure it out. So I'm excited to start learning about this and how to navigate through it. So thank you so much for doing what you do, Cheri. Thank you, Scott, so much for putting this together. So I'm excited for all of us.
Thank you so much for sharing, Jody. I can feel your excitement, and we're excited too. All right, Brad, come on out.
Hey there. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, just the whole go for no thing. We've been following that for quite a few years. And when you're telling your story there, and I started reading the book last night, I got everything and started reading the book. And I mean, that was just about mirroring where we were at, or where I'm at in the world, and going through it. It's totally blowing the whole theory out of the go for no goals program, because, well, it's like, you're not going to get no's anymore almost, right? It was crazy with that. And I just want to add on, like I say, I've been following Scott's program here for over a year now. I'm pretty certain, at least that, and taking that and putting it on steroids, putting this system into it. I've been messing around with the whole decoder thing all day here today. My wife just thinks I'm on crack or something, because I just can't stop going. So I'm totally stoked for it. It's a complete game changer. Anybody that hasn't got this thing yet, jump on it, because it's going to change your world forever. So millionaire is where I'm going now. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Brad, for sharing. Okay, last share. Is it Rochelle or Rachel?
You had
Rochelle?
it right, Rochelle. Yes. Can you hear me?
Sorry. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's Rochelle, yes.
Rochelle.
So I come from Scott's side of the world, and I've used his methodology with trying to reach out and make contacts, and I've had success, but not overwhelming success. So I've had, I probably made 7 connections out of the 100, because I got in LinkedIn jail. Yeah, that was me. But they've been really solid connections, and I'm really stoked to see what game changes for me. And I'm really excited to see that it's going to change, because I get a lot of no's in my business. When people hear wellness, they say, when they hear essential oils, they're like, nah. When they hear non-toxic cleaners, they're like, I'm good with my 80 cleaners. And I'm like, but I have 1. So
I feel you. And actually, we're going to start the call off tonight with how Scott and Cheri asked me to begin the call sharing how I'm reaching out on LinkedIn using both these methods together to give you some real practical examples. So perfect segue leading into the next section of our call. Before I jump into that, I do want to just address a little bit of an elephant in the room, which was some of you may have been confused with getting both the Kickstarter last night and the $1 trial started. So I actually want to start off the call in case anybody needs some clarification around how to do that. I already had gotten a couple private messages since this call started requesting that. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in the through Scott's link. Okay, so hopefully this will help clear it up if you're struggling at all with getting this original offer going. So let me just share my screen. So here we have the Kickstarter offer, and there's an Access Now button right here for Kickstarter Pro. And by the way, if you for some reason bought Kickstarter and not Kickstarter Pro, you can upgrade to Kickstarter Pro using the code BANK30. There were about 4 or 5 of you that actually purchased the regular Kickstarter. So you want to get the Kickstarter Pro because the Pro offers the relationships training, which is absolutely fantastic, and the advanced bank code assessment. So I want to make sure you've got all the tools that you need so you can use BANK30 in the upgrade area of your back office. There are 2 coupon codes, and this is where people, I think, got a little confused. There's 2 coupon codes. The first one is BANK50. So BANK50 changes the $99 code Kickstarter Pro to $49.95. You can see here how it changed to $49.95. The next step was to add Codebreaker Explorer to your order by hitting this Upgrade Now button. And then what happens is it adds a $99 subscription, And here is another coupon code area, and this coupon is just bank. Okay, when you apply just the bank coupon, it changes this $99 down to $1. And now you can see your total says $50.95. You can proceed to checkout and do your thing. Okay, so hopefully that helps a couple of you that are still working to make sure you get your accounts going. And then from there, I want to go ahead. We promised you a bonus tonight if you came on live. So for the 61 of you that are here right now, we're going to give you a bank box called LinkedIn Secrets. So if you would like to grab that, I put the link in the chat box. So last night you received social media secrets. Tonight you get LinkedIn secrets. So this is all about the personality types on LinkedIn, how to approach them on LinkedIn, how to post on LinkedIn. So make sure you're grabbing your bonus. And then I'm going to share with you what I did to help myself on LinkedIn by combining Bank and Scott's process together. So first of all, I will tell you what I do every single week. So every single week in the morning, before I get my day started, I do my LinkedIn outreach. So I will do around 15 connects in the My Network section. Based on, I go through and I find the people that I want to connect to. And then I will look at my already connected list from the previous day, and I will go through recent people who have said, yes, I want to connect to you. And I make sure that I've been connected for at least 24 hours with that person. So if they just connected with me like 10 minutes ago, I don't send a message yet. I wait another 24 hours before I send them a message because I don't want to look like a bot. Okay. So once it's been 24 hours, I look for 5 of them. I find 5 ideal connections, either referral partners or ideal potential clients that I want to reach out to. And I open up their profile and I use the Google Chrome LinkedIn extension to code their profile. No more than 5 a day. Okay. And I take a look at the LinkedIn extension profile. I read through things. I also use my own skills. I'm a licensed and certified trainer with Bank, and we teach what's called speed coding. So I also sometimes will do a little extra research if it's a real key connection. Like I might go check out their Facebook profile if I can find it, or go to their website and take a look at it if I can, read their bio there too. And I will use my intuition and my skill set with Bank and ask myself, what's the personality type of this person? So the AI tells me this is the code of the LinkedIn profile. If I feel that that's an accurate description of who they are, then I will send a message that's been tweaked based on their primary personality type, or I will send a message that is balanced, that kind of speaks to all 4 personality types just to cover my bases. So I'm going to show you a document I created for you all today. Now, this is not fancy. I just did it in a Word document. I did it on the fly. I did it using a skill set called power scripting. So power scripting is your ability to write, read, speak in any code at any time. And I asked for Scott's help. I said, Scott, send me your basic message. I want to see what your basic message looks like. So I'm going to show you what he sent me. Here is the original message from Scott. Hi, blank. First name goes there, right? It's great to be connected to you. I noticed that we have a similar background in whatever industry profession, and it would be great to hop on a call or Zoom to learn more about each other and how we can best support one another here on LinkedIn. Is there a day and time that is best for you? This is your message. Yes, Scott? Okay. So I put this in Codebreaker AI, and what came back is this bar graph. This is an A, K, a little bit of N, hardly any B at all. All right, so what's good about this is it has the emotional code and the logical code are the 2 highest. So it actually has a little bit of balance in it. So it's got like that action style, but it's also, I want to learn about you. And it's it has that logic side to it. So
it's so
here's
me.
What I,
it's so me, Stephanie. It's so me.
Is it? Yeah,
so
of course. This is actually, when we first met, I thought you were more AK than AN. And I think that's because of your writing style. Was a little more AK to me. So here it is. I tweaked this. I took the message and I said, well, let me make this as action as I can, still kind of in the same formula that Scott has. So here it's like, hi, first name. It's great to be connected to you. I love that we both have a similar background in XYZ industry. It would be great to hop on a call or Zoom and see what opportunities and connections we can create for each other here on LinkedIn. Is there a day and time that works best for you? That's best for you. So keywords here, opportunity is one of the core values of an action type. So that helped kick the A up higher. And also I use great a couple times. We tend to like, it's so great. It's awesome. It's, we use like these kind of fun, pop words. So I will, and by the way, I'll drop these in the chat box if you want me to. Or you can watch the recording, of course, and just copy them down. But I'll drop them in the chat box for you after this. Here's a nurturing message. Hi, thank you for connecting. I appreciate that we both have a similar background in XYZ industry. I would love to hop on a call or Zoom with you to network and see how we can support one another here on LinkedIn. Is there a day and time that is best for you? So the words here, I mean, these are just slight tweaks, really. And honestly, they're not huge changes, but they make a big difference based on your primary personality type. So the word connecting, appreciate is another word. Love is a word that kicks the nurturing up. Network is a word that kicks the nurturing up. So here's blueprint. This one is the hardest one for me to do. I have to admit, I actually speak blueprint to my husband really, really well because I've been living with a blueprint for almost 20 years. But when I write blueprint, I sometimes struggle. So here it is. Hi, first name. I want to develop my professional circle of business owners in the XYZ industry. No hidden agenda. That phrase right there is very blueprint because blueprints are always feeling like you're going to sell something to them. They're very, very hesitant to speak to anyone who's a salesperson. They avoid them like the plague. When I go into any kind of like shopping situation with my husband, he's like, don't talk to the salesperson. He's like, run away. So no hidden agenda helps like quell that a little bit. Can we schedule a call or Zoom for a time you are available next week? So it's blueprint with some nurturing in it. Then we have knowledge with almost nothing else in it. Hi, I'm searching for experts in the XYZ industry to add to my network. Would you be interested in a call or Zoom to learn more about each other? Key phrases are learn more. That's a knowledge phrase. And the experts. They want to connect to experts. So high knowledge right there compared to everything else. And then here's my attempt at a balanced message. Now you could work on this, you could tweak it. I know some Ks that would sit here all day trying to get those bar graphs completely even. But I just did my best to kind of get close. That's the A in me. So hi, first name. It's great to be connected to you. I'm looking to build a network of business professionals and experts in the XYZ industry. No hidden agenda. I would love to hop on a call so we can learn more about each other and how we can support one another in growing our network. Is there a day and time that works best for you? It's a little bit of all 4 personality types, pretty balanced on the whole. So I'm happy. I will drop these messages into the chat if you want to copy and paste them into a document on your computer. Otherwise, obviously, you can go back and watch this recording and just dictate it to yourself.
Or maybe, Stephanie, you can upload it. Maybe you can add it as an attachment in the chat.
Yeah, maybe I can.
Or put it in your Dropbox so that people can just download it.
I'll work on that. I'll work on that during the call. So give me a thumbs up if that was helpful. Give me a thumbs up if that was helpful.
Or a Y or yes in the chat box, because that was amazing right there. That was amazing.
Thank you. So happy to support. I love power scripting. Power scripting is one of my favorite things to do in the world. In fact, when I was working on this assignment, I was like, this is so fun. I was telling Scott, I'm like, I just sent you the messages. It's so fun. So I really enjoy the skill. I don't know. I'm kind of a weirdo that way, but do you have a question, Jody?
I do. Did you have in there BNKA?
Yes, I think it was BNAK actually is what the code was.
Okay, so it's okay if they're in different order. It's all kind of, or wait.
Well, here's the thing. So I created these messages specifically to show you like the differences that would occur if you just focused on one of the personality types. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you necessarily want to send those particular messages out. I tend to want to go for a more balanced approach. And also when you look at bank codes, the first two are the triggers to a yes. So honestly, in communication, you want to at least get the first two in the right order because that helps them move forward. Don't worry so much about being so absolutely correct with all four, because then you'll just drive yourself crazy, especially if you're new to bank and you're just trying to work it out. So I would say, don't go into over perfectionism or anything. Just allow yourself to create what feels good for you.
Okay, because I'm the BNKA, and I don't remember seeing that, but it's interesting. So okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
We're going to be doing some Q&A at the end of today's session too with Cheri and myself. So if there are questions that you have, you can, whether it's about Codebreaker, or about LinkedIn, or the marrying of the two, because they did get married last night. We can answer all those questions on the honeymoon session tonight. Yeah. We got our rings on.
With that, Scott, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to pass the baton to you so you can talk about the sales call, because that is the next step after you get those bookings, after those outreach messages go out and they say, yes, I want to get on your calendar. Now you got to talk to them. Yep. So we're going to send it back your way.
Awesome. And Stephanie, thank you for graciously creating all of those. And she messaged me the other day. She goes, can you send me that message again? And this is just the beauty. And for anyone that's worked with me in any capacity, whether it's my virtual course, my one-on-one, our mastermind, that I'm big on, being very genuine and authentic, and, shooting straight from the hip. And you can see the power of words and how just interchanging specific words could change the entire outcome of the responses that you can get from people on LinkedIn. And as I stated last night, LinkedIn is 277% more effective for lead generation than Facebook. And, whenever we're talking about building a business, there are specific arms of your business. The most important arm of your business is your lead generation arm. If you don't have leads, you don't have a business. You need people to connect with, you need people to talk to, and you need relationships to be built the right way. And again, this is why with the Codebreaker technology and with my LinkedIn methodology, you combine those two, you become bulletproof in what you're going to do. And again, it's rewiring everything that we thought about sales. Sales is not dirty. Sales is fun. It's about building those relationships. Yes leads to yes. And that's what I want to get t-shirts made and just wear that all the time now. And I will send everybody a shirt if they want, and just really embrace that. Yes leads to yes. That's really what it's about. So what we wanted to do tonight, outside of answering any questions that you have, is I wanted to go over. So now that you've sent one of these messages out, you get a response back. What does that call look like? So I'm going to give you the baseline structure of how your call, and I'm going to do an example live with all of you right now. And then what Cheri's going to do is, after I'm done, Cheri's going to swoop in and she's going to break that conversation down, depending upon if you're leading with talking to a blueprint, or if you're talking to an action type or a nurture type or a knowledge type, how much of your conversation should be changed. So if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat box. Just want to make sure everybody is clear. Good. Awesome. So I want to do a little bit of a review, and then we're going to dive into the conversation itself. So I'm going to share my screen really quickly, and we're going to get this up. Now, everyone that's on here, there was a workbook emailed out. If you don't have it, it's not a big deal. You could simply write on a piece of paper, or the one that you had from the night before, completely fine. Just want to make sure that everyone is clear with what we're about to we're starting to do right now. Okay, so let me just bring this up really quickly. Now, just to kind of go over, stating the person's name, reason for reaching out, call to action to get them on the call. Now, you want to make sure, right? So you get those responses back. So you have the script messages, You're sending your 5 messages a day. You start getting responses back. Whenever, these are just 3 basic tips that I want to give everybody. So no matter what, if the person's a blueprint, an action, a nurture, or a knowledge, you always make sure it's about them first. There's an old saying that the person that speaks last is always going to win the conversation. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So you always want that person sharing their story first. Now, what I do, and anyone that knows me, I have stacks and stacks and stacks of note cards. I take notes. Whenever I'm talking to someone, I want to get to know that person. So I take little bullet points of what they've shared from their story, so I can then wrap it into mine. Active listening makes for a deeper and more impactful conversation. The whole idea of this is to lower the wall of resistance and raise the level of connection. So there's 5 steps to this. Their story first, your story second, the passion that you have behind what you do, your aha moment, and either closing the call or booking a follow-up. Now, what I want to do with you is I'm going to do an example. So the first rule of thumb, you are never ever to share your story first. Ever. I don't care if they insist. I don't care if they're like, no, you go. No, you go. No, you go. They are always to talk first. So whenever I'm on the phone with someone, and I've done thousands and thousands and thousands of these, it would be a simple, hey, Stephanie, Scott from LinkedIn. It's so great to be connected to you and so grateful that we have the time to talk right now. And you reiterate things from that message. I noticed that we had a similar background in the coaching industry. Tell me a little bit about your business and where you see it going in the next 3 to 5 years. And that's all I say. I make sure that my conversation is on that person within the first 30 to 45 seconds. Now, I do this for 2 reasons. Number 1, people love talking about themselves. And number 2, people love being listened to. Again, the idea, and you want to keep thinking about this, is lowering the wall of resistance, raising the level of connection. That's what it's all about. So I typically book my calls, and my suggestion to everybody on here is to block out 20, 30 minutes. If you're on the phone with someone for 45 minutes, an hour, listen, time is the most valuable commodity that we have. When you get really good at flowing through a conversation, I've closed people cold. I've closed people from not knowing them, getting on the phone and closing a sale in 7 minutes. Going through this structure. It was just very direct. Obviously, I was talking to someone that was just like me, but again, it was a 7-minute close. You want to pay attention to that story. So Stephanie's going to start sharing her story. She's going to share things about her life, her business, and this is where you want to take some bullet points down. And you're taking these bullet points is because you want to create relatability to your story, which bleeds into theirs. People want to feel like they're talking to themselves. So I'll take little bullet points on Stephanie's story, making sure that I wrap some of those little pieces and nuggets that she shared with me into my story. So as Stephanie is hearing my story, it's becoming very relatable. Like, wow, he's just like me. Now, after they're done sharing their story, if this is making sense so far, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat box. Just want to make sure. I don't want to go too fast with this. I want to make sure everybody is clear. Good. Okay. So now that they've shared their story, you're going to move the conversation to all yes or no questions. Now, why do you move it to all yes or no questions? You want to be very clear and direct with people whenever you're having any sort of conversation, because if it's not a good fit, if it's just not vibing, you want to be so clear and direct that the answer is either going to be yes, we're continuing, or no, we're not. We don't want any time wasted. Again, that's the most valuable commodity that we have. So I would say, Stephanie, thank you so much for sharing your story. Learned a lot. Would you be interested in learning more about me and mine? Unless you're talking to a really, really rude person, everyone's going to say, yes, absolutely. Would love to hear about you. So I would start sharing my story, which I'm going to tie back into her. So as an example, say I have a program that teaches people how to explode their business on LinkedIn, just as an example. And Stephanie was in the coaching industry, which she is, and she's looking for more leads. She's looking for more quality conversations, and she's looking for a better way to generate business into her business using LinkedIn. So she would, in her story, she mentioned some things that were sticking out to her as things that she wanted to improve. And this is the big thing that you always want to pay attention to. People will reveal to you what they want to improve. So you can build the conversation around the voids and the gaps and the holes in their business, and you can fill that with what you offer. So as I'm sharing my story, I can say, Stephanie, I can relate to so much of what you said. Being in the coaching industry now for over 24 years, I can so relate to a lot of your story, the ups and the downs. And strangely enough, I was experiencing a lot of the same things that you were on social media. Lack of qualified leads, lack of quality conversations, the wrong people into my business, lack of sales, all those things, not getting any visibility. And I was turned on to LinkedIn. And I remember I was, at a conference and somebody was talking about, social media and how it's about human connection. You got to find, people that have business minds and that are open and want to talk. And I remember I had a LinkedIn profile. I had set it up years ago. And like most people, it was just collecting dust. I thought it was like monster.com where people would just go and try to get a job. And I went on there and I realized that it's not to find a job. It's actually to connect and network with people. So I went on there and I started connecting and messaging the best that I knew at the time. And I started getting responses back. And I was booking sales call after sales call after sales call. And literally within a matter of weeks, I had 15 to 20 calls booked solid every single week, up to 40 calls in a week. And my business started to grow. I started to close more sales. I started to have better conversations, better connections, better networking opportunities. So I reached out to a friend of mine, and he had a sales background. And I said, Joey, listen, you got to get on LinkedIn. I said, this is literally a slam dunk. This is, again, you want your appointment book full of quality people and conversations and opportunities to close more business. This is where you need to be. So I taught him a little bit of what I was doing. And 2 weeks later, he sent me a text message. And the text message read, dude, call me. So I called him and I said, what's up? And he goes, listen. He goes, I don't know what you figured out. He goes, but I had to stop messaging people because I have too many people responding back for appointments. He goes, you should be teaching this. You should be showing other people what you've done. And it's like the alarm bell started ringing. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a gap that people in the coaching profession and entrepreneur industries are struggling with right now. This is a gap that I can fill with something that I created. So, Stephanie, what I did was I created a program. that walked people through A, B, C, and D of what needs to be done to duplicate exactly what I have done and what I still currently do that has brought over $3 million of revenue into our company in the last 4 years. Now, Stephanie, that's my story, but it's not my passion. So their story first, your story second. So if that makes sense, if that's clear so far, drop a Y or a yes in the chat box. And you guys are hearing my actual story, so there's no fabrication. I'm telling you how everything happened. So now Stephanie's ears are like perked up right now because she voiced to me the pain points, the problems that she has. I understand how to best communicate with her. And I say, you know, that's my story, but it's not my passion. My passion is actually teaching and coaching other people like you and I. Now, this is key. I didn't say people like you. I said people like you and I. Relatability. People, professionals, coaches, entrepreneurs like you and I, about how when you can follow a simple system that only takes 20 minutes a day of activity on LinkedIn, from sending your connections, sending your messages, producing some value-added content, how that can lead to the same results that I'm having. And here was my aha moment. It was about 2 years ago, and a friend of mine that I was in a mastermind with reached out to me, and he said, listen, I have a local-based business in the Detroit area, and I need to connect with more real estate developers to bid on jobs. And this gentleman, he has a bricklaying company. He goes, could I leverage LinkedIn for that? I said, dude, absolutely. I said, if you know who your target market is, you know where they are, my system can show you how to do the rest. He said, okay, sign me up. So about 8 months goes by, and he reaches out to me, and he says, you'll never believe what happened today. I said, what? He said, I've been getting some sales. He goes, I just booked the largest sale in our company's 15-year history. It was a $650,000 contract. Fast forward, 12 months in, he had generated $1.5 million in business just by following the strategy that I was teaching. And I said to myself, this, amongst all the other people that I've helped, this was the social proof that says, if you follow the system, it will work. Now, Stephanie, with everything that we spoke about today, about your business, about my business, about your struggles and what I do, here's the key part. Is there anything that I can do, or is there any way that I can help you personally or professionally with anything that you're struggling with? Or at a bare minimum, how do you feel we can support one another here on LinkedIn? Now, their story, your passion, your aha moment, you finish with a call to action. When you end your phone call or Zoom or Skype or however you're connecting, when you finish it with that CTA, you're getting a yes or a yes. And here's why. The two scenarios. Everything rang true with what Stephanie was struggling with. I could solve all of her problems. And she says, you know what? No brainer. Let's do this. Teach me. Which I have. On the flip side of that, maybe it's not a good fit for where she is right now. Loves the idea. She's got her hands in too many pots, but she would love to explore the opportunity to network with each other and support one another, which could be introductions, which could be podcast guesting, which could be introductions into people into a group that she maybe has. So there's always going to be an opportunity there. Now, for me, I typically don't. Do I have one call closes? Absolutely. And a lot of people do believe the fortunes in the follow-up. And I do believe that some people are ready right now, but some people are ready later. So if she's not ready right now, or maybe she says, you know what, Scott, what would the next step look like? You know, how can I learn more? Now, this is where, if you know, and I know that Stephanie's an action type, I'm going to tell her straight up, here's what we need to do. I just need some basic billing information, credit card, debit card, whatever you want to pay. We can get you in the system. We can get you going. Now, nurturing type, they may need a little bit of massaging. They may say, you know, well, let's do this. Let's set up a follow-up call. I can send you some information. You can kind of look some things over. We can hop on a call in a couple of days. I can answer any and all questions that you have. If you're clear at that point, I can tell you what the next steps are. Now, blueprint, I've dealt with a lot of blueprint conversations. They want to see exactly how the course is laid out. Are there guarantees? Is there a money back? You know, so you have to be prepared for those types of things. So when you start understanding the language that other people are using, depending upon what you are presenting, now you know exactly not how to combat that conversation, but how to lean into that conversation to get closer to that yes. So if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat box. So again, it's their story first, your story second, the passion behind what you do, bringing it to life, that aha moment. And then you book that follow-up call. And it could be a direct sale right away. It may lead to something else. They may need to look at something. It may be a couple follow-up calls. If you follow this framework, and again, in a second, Cheri's going to come in here and she's going to break this down, how you can shift that conversation depending upon the personality type of the person you're speaking to. Yes is going to lead to yes. Now, I want to go over two quick little bonus points with you right here. This is my 20-minute flow. This is it. And I'm going to break it down very, very simple for you. And again, we're going to do questions at the end. So again, I just want you to absorb this first and we can answer questions later. So my 20-minute methodology, my 20-minute method that's patented, that I teach, that's part of my program. You send out your new and highly targeted connections. You properly message your new contacts from the previous day, as Stephanie mentioned, never the same day, always 24 hours later. And then you provide one piece of thought-provoking and educational information in the form of a post, article, or video. Now, why this is so powerful is there are actually multiple ways to generate leads on LinkedIn. There's 3 ways. Your active outreach through messaging, the push notification outreach, which is the happy birthday messages, the work anniversary, congrats on the new job or the promotion. And the third way is your content. Remember what I said last night. There's 2 types of people on LinkedIn. There's the active networkers and there's the spectators. Your content is what's going to draw the spectators in closer to you, where they're going to start reaching out to you. I got a message today from someone that said, you know what? I've been watching your LinkedIn lives. I need help with LinkedIn lead generation. Can we talk on Friday? Now I have a call booked. Now, what I can do ahead of time, since we're connected, I have the Chrome extension. I can actually download their profile, find out more about their personality type to prepare myself for that sales call on Friday. That's what it's all about. And understanding so you can get creative with your content. And I dripped on this a little bit last night. Say you're producing 3 pieces of content a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, which is what I always suggest. Monday, you do a video. Wednesday, you do a post. Friday, you write an article. Monday, you can create a video that is geared towards the A's. Wednesday, you can create a post that's geared towards maybe the nurturers. And then when you're doing that long form piece of content, that really long article or newsletter, you're sandwiching the knowledge and blueprints in one fell swoop. They want to read a bunch of information. They want to learn. They want to see everything. So now your content is bringing all of these newer people in. So if that's clear, type "it's clear" in the chat box. Now, this is a very, very, very simple. Like, I can't tell you, people think when they hear about my system and when they get under the kimono of what they need to do, when they see my program and how it works, they can't believe how simple and easy it is. It's rinse, wash, and repeat. You don't have to change a thing. You don't have to edit a thing, and you don't have to shift a thing. It's all built out. It's plug and play. Now, Rochelle kind of tipped on this a little bit earlier, but I do want to go over the 3 ways that you don't want to get blocked on LinkedIn, because this happens all too often. Well, the first thing is make sure that you're sending connections to the right people. Don't spray and pray. Don't connect with people just because they're a warm body. And they're like, oh, they look interesting, I'm going to connect with them. Remember, you got to have targeted connections. And here's why. People are hitting that ignore button. So when you get a connection request on LinkedIn, you have the option to accept or the option to ignore. And if you're connecting with the wrong people, you get too many ignores. Guess what? LinkedIn flags your account and they will end up restricting it. That's why you want to be highly targeted, connecting with the right people. The second thing is make sure you don't send too many connections per day and per week. You're not a spammer. Trivia question. Type in the chat box, what is the max number per week you can send out? Let's see if we were paying attention last night. There it is, 100. 100 is max per week. Now, if you're going from being inactive to active on LinkedIn, you don't want to go sending 100 in a week right away. You want to ramp up because LinkedIn is seeing no activity to like ridiculous activity. That's why I always tell people maybe 10, 12 connections a day for the first couple of weeks, and then you can ramp it up to get to the 20 a day, 5 days a week. Now, something that people actually don't realize is that not everyone is going to accept your connection request. It's just the nature of people. Some people will, some people won't. You have to make sure that you delete those sent requests that are unaccepted if they're 3 weeks and older. So when you go on LinkedIn and you click on My Network, you're going to see an area on the top right that says Manage or See All. If you have connection requests sent to you, it'll say See All. And if you have no connection requests being sent to you, it'll just say Manage. You click on that and you'll see Received and Sent. You're going to click on Sent Connection Requests. If you've never checked this section out on LinkedIn, you are going to be flabbergasted because when I checked it, I had over 8,000 outstanding connection requests sitting there. And what you want to do is you want to withdraw any of them. And there's no max number of withdrawal because here's what happens. If you don't withdraw those connections, LinkedIn can restrict your account from sending connection requests again until you remove those old connection requests. If that's clear, drop a Y or a yes in the chat box. So just make sure that you do not spray and pray, do not send too many connection requests, and make sure that you remove those old connections, those old sent requests that have been sitting there for weeks, months, and sometimes even years. Now that you're clear on the messaging, right? We know using Codebreaker and using everything that Bank provides, how to really message these people the right way. And then on top of that, understanding the flow of the conversation now, knowing a little bit about that 20-minute methodology, but also how to not get blocked on LinkedIn. Now you are ready to take full control of your experience on LinkedIn. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you have to disown Facebook and Instagram. You're not going to have to rely on them anymore. And there's so many people are displeased and disheartened with Facebook and Instagram right now. People are getting shadow banned left and right, and people don't know what that means. But basically, when you're shadow banned, if you post something that they don't want you to see, or is about your business, or is not really, going to draw an attention, they shadow ban it, which means they don't show it to anyone. So the great thing about LinkedIn is that you do have that ultimate visibility. You create your own network yourself. You can build it any which way you want. You control those conversations. You control the outreach. You are in full control of your network. That's why this tool is so powerful. So you lump the LinkedIn methodology with Codebreaker and Bank. Again, it's game over. So with that, I want to have Cheri step out, talk a little bit more about the benefits to everything that everyone has gotten, but also how you can utilize understanding that person's code and lumping that in with my call structure, how that can make your calls go so much better, so much smoother, that can lead to more yeses. So Cheri, why don't you step on out?
Awesome, Scott. Love it. How many of you are learning something? Give Scott a thumbs up. Boom. So cool. And you guys, this is a technique, repeat, repeat, repeat until rich. And these are the principles of things that are going to help you be successful. I love what you guys have been saying. Scott, I love what you teach. And at the beginning, when you guys were sharing your ahas, it was cool to see the things that were blowing your mind. And there's a lot of dumb sayings that we bought into, like the whole go for no, and that's why I say it was one of the dumbest things I've ever heard, because the truth is, in order to get more yeses, you have to get more yeses. There's other dumb things out there too, like money doesn't buy you happiness. How many of you bought that one? That's like totally stupid. Money buys so much happiness, I can't even tell you. And money isn't everything, right? You know that, but I'd rather have money than not money. And so would you. You can do good things with money. So I'm glad that we're dispelling some of the myths that are out there, and somehow that we got programmed into believing that are just absolutely not true. So Scott is teaching you a strategy or a system, and system is an acronym. And if you've never heard this before, I want you to write it down. System stands for save yourself time, energy, and money. So that's exactly what a system does. You're going to save time, you're going to save energy, and you're going to save money. You want to be able to put this system into place 20 minutes every single day. You do this for 20 minutes every day, 20 connections a day, 5 days a week. You're going to literally start to crush it in business, and you're going to be able to grow and scale and earn the types of revenues that you're looking for. So Scott, thank you for that. I'm going to take you into the bank, and we're going to do a deeper dive. I'm going to apply Bank into our social media, into LinkedIn strategies. And I'm going to give you more layers of the Bank system through the lens of social media with your LinkedIn strategies, because that's what's going to be completely important and relevant for tonight's training. So let me share my screen here. So as a reminder, we talked about the values of the Bank system. You guys want to have these memorized. When we put people through, we have a live event called Codebreaker Summit. All right. When you come through Codebreaker Summit, I or one of our certified trainers has you memorize these values. And so for those of you that you're brand new to Bank, you bought the Bank system yesterday, and I want to say congratulations, high five, and thank you. I want to create significant value and ROI for you. Memorize these values, put it into your DNA, because when you put it into your brain under pressure, it's going to come out. It's going to come out when you're on the phone talking to people. It's going to come out when you're writing your messages. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm recognizing I'm with a blueprint right now. Or wow, that person's a fireball action. What do I do? Program these values into you. And now let me take a little bit deeper here. So for example, how the B's, and that's the acronym of Bank, right? The blueprint, the B. How do the B's approach social media? The B's generally have LinkedIn profiles because it is expected of them as professionals, not because they particularly want to be a social media star. Okay. That said, they will diligently post content and develop connections in a way that supports their professional profile. Blueprints know LinkedIn is critical for attaining respect and professional stature. Okay. Because it's a professional setting, Blueprint types hate informality on LinkedIn. They keep posts impersonal and they share content relevant to their business or industry. So you're not going to see them sharing a whole bunch of anything personal on LinkedIn. Oops, let me go back one here. And the Bs like to develop a system for LinkedIn. So posting on an established schedule and connecting only with people they meet in business settings. Bs will respond to a message or to messages and comments in a timely manner. So it's part of their protocol, and they schedule it in and they build it in like a routine or a ritual. That's what you can expect. Okay. Now, how the actions approach social media is going to be totally different. The A's have LinkedIn profiles because they're on the hunt for new opportunities and they love building an audience. Actions want to connect with the top influencers, leaders, executives in their industry, but they are just as happy to connect with anyone who has an interesting opportunity or even anyone excited about their content, right? They just feel alive and work with people who are fired up about something. The A's must be focused on making money on LinkedIn, but they still want fun. Action types will use emojis and lots of exclamation points to get their excitement across when letting you in on a big opportunity. So you can often tell just in their writing style what code they are. If they start using a lot of exclamation points and things like that, you're going to notice the actions fired up. They don't naturally like to post strategically, but will if it means that they can win a big deal. So A's are in it to win however they can. So someone like Scott, someone like me doesn't like going out there and posting and doing all those things, but an action type will do it if they know it drives their revenue, drives their fame, their fortune, their exposure, their audience, etc. Now, how the nurturing people approach social networking. LinkedIn here. The N's have LinkedIn profiles because they love building their network and connecting with people generally. This is just one more way to make friends. Nurturers use LinkedIn to promote important causes and share meaningful content. They will usually accept anyone as a connection and be open to starting a conversation. So you say, hey, I want to have a meeting with you to get to know you more. They're like, great. And next thing you know, you've got a live body that you're talking to. Nurturing types also enjoy mentoring people and helping people find new jobs or new opportunities. Anything they can do to support other people's professional growth is a positive. So you can ask for help from a nurturing and they're the first to show up. They're happy to serve as connectors on LinkedIn and will certainly introduce you to a connection if you simply ask. Just make sure to keep an authentic, engaged conversation going or they will feel used. So it's very important that the warmth that you generate with the nurturing, that it's authentic and real. It can't just be fake or contrived so that you can get into their pocketbook or into their network. How the K's do social networking here. The K's have LinkedIn profiles because they know that LinkedIn is a great place to learn new information. They sign up for webinars and LinkedIn learning courses and engage thoughtfully with content posted by connections. Expect questions and confident answers on topics within their expertise from knowledges. The Ks tend to carefully watch their performance metrics on LinkedIn, so they're going to be looking at all of their stats. They leverage data to improve the performance of their outreach messages and posts. Knowledge types keep abreast of the latest research into how to use LinkedIn effectively, and they put it into action. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to take you through some of the secrets for each of these codes. Here's some secrets for the Bs, okay? Secret is don't wait more than 1 business day to respond. The Bs are looking for dependability, so a less than prompt response to any message will seem flaky. And I got to admit, I'm guilty of that. Sometimes weeks will go by before I have time to dig into my LinkedIn messages and they'll be like, you know, and it is lame to get back to them late. So you want to be way more on top of it. They're expecting a 24-hour turnaround of the message. Let me see here. Secret is steer clear of controversy. Bees don't trust anyone who wade into massive political mess or controversy in a political setting, right? So this is where you want to keep your opinions on politics, on what happens with the elections, on what's happening with different movements, a lockdown, what your thoughts are related to COVID and the vaccines. Like those are absolute taboo topics for blueprints. Secret. Post predictably. The bees like to see you working a system. Plan your post for regular intervals and rotate through regular formats. For example, Glenn Andrew is on this webinar, and every single time I log into LinkedIn, boom, there's a brand new post from Glenn. For whatever reason, it's like one of the first things that shows up in my feed. He is absolutely consistent with his posts. Some of the things that we did at Codebreaker for our bank community is we created a whole series of memes and posts that people can do. And that created swipe copy that gives you content to actually put out there. And well done, Glenn. Secret, include all of your credentials in your profile. For blueprints, credentials are critical. They don't just want to see where you went to school and your job history. So very important, because they will read every detail as they're looking and kind of scoping you out to see whether or not you are legit. And if you have the authority to be who you say you are. Now LinkedIn secrets for the actions. So secret with the A's, wait until you hit 500 plus connections to reach out. Actions aren't interested in doing business with anyone who seems like they're the bottom of the food chain. You know, A's are looking for influencers, not the wannabes. Okay. Secret is put your best foot forward. Image is everything for the A's. You want to make a good impression by choosing a cool headshot and header image and writing an exciting and cool personal intro. Secret is lead with the opportunity. Don't waste actions time. Get straight to the point when reaching out to an action and tell them what they can get out of the interaction. Like, Scott, listen, with your LinkedIn system, what if are you open to strategic partnership if it could put an extra 5 or 10 grand a month into your pocket? Hit me up. Let me know if you want to talk. There's an example of an action style, very authentic message of one A to another. That's like, look, I can make you a lot of money. Let's talk. Secret is get exciting recommendations. A's will be impressed if you are someone that executives, thought leaders, and movers and shakers recommend. So you definitely want to build out your recommendations, and you want to make sure that you have recommendations from all 4 codes, by the way. That's going to be important to you. Secret is like their posts. Actions thrive with attention. Show that you're paying attention by regularly liking and commenting on the things that they post. They want to feel like they have a fan club. If they put up a post and it's just a bunch of crickets, and then you try to reach out to them and you haven't commented on their stuff, they're going to be like, yeah, who are you? Right? Versus, and that's one of the secrets of Esther, my business partner and wife. She finds the influencers that she wants to connect with, and she follows them sometimes for a couple years, liking and commenting on their posts. And then the next thing you know, when the time is right, boom, we have a massive business relationship with them. And they like us already because they're like, they've seen us liking their posts and commenting for a long time consistently. The secret's about the nurturing on LinkedIn. Excuse me. You want to start the conversation early and keep it going. Nurturers need to develop an authentic, deep relationship before they will be open to hearing about a business opportunity. Secret is love their posts. N's don't need attention for attention's sake like the A's, but they do need to see that you care. Be helpful. The N's appreciate people who contribute to the community. Build positive spaces on LinkedIn by helping others find answers, jobs, opportunities, and people. Secret, share your passion. For the nurturing types, work should be something that you love. So why are you passionate about what you do? And they will feel and share that passion. And include volunteer work in your profile. LinkedIn has a section where you can include your volunteer experience, and it is vital that nurturers see what you have there. So that's very important also. They can see that you're a give back, community driven, make the world a better place person. Now the secrets about the K's with LinkedIn here is invite them to digital training and webinars. K's love to learn. In fact, that's the reason many are on LinkedIn at all. Verify your sources. Knowledge types don't have a lot of patience for people who post articles or stats from questionable sources, especially on a professional platform. Like I could say, hey, 68% of people, and you can just make that up. That's why you need to put the source with it. Show technological competence. Ks love technology, and they will not trust anyone who makes errors in how they use LinkedIn and other connected tech platforms, tools, and technology. Another secret. Hold on. Sometimes my computer just like freezes up on me. I'm not sure why. Is follow thought leaders and educators. The knowledges are impressed by someone who shows that they have a high level of intellectual curiosity. Like Ks are smart, and they want to be able to learn and dig in. Don't try to sell them on LinkedIn. The knowledges need time and a lot of information to make an informed decision. So sometimes you'll have people that are reading your articles and posts for months before they engage. Just like Scott said, he's been posting those videos and now someone's ready to have a phone call, okay? So the biggest LinkedIn secret of all, like we talked about last night, is using the universal language of bank in your direct messages. So here we've been talking about the direct messages that have been going out, and I'm going to give a little bit more training. Stephanie showed you the cheat sheet that she made, and you guys got access to that, but we're going to take it a step further here, and I'm going to walk you through it. So the great thing about LinkedIn is how open and well used the messaging features are. Okay, you can catch someone's attention quickly and efficiently by speaking to their bank code through targeted email, connection requests, and messages. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a couple of these things to show you how to actually use the bank strategies as you're building connections, setting appointments. And what we don't have time for, we actually put into the bonus material that you can download. And this is what I mean by our team at Bank. We've got teams of copywriters and experts that go out and find these topics and source it. Then we build it through the lens of the bank code so that you get a very valuable experience. So for example, when you're doing a connection request with a blueprint, okay, you want to study this. You want to make sure that you print out what we gave you as a bonus. This is massive, valuable content. And that you have it with you so that as you profile people and you use the AI and you find out, wow, okay, this person's a blueprint. Okay. The Bs are most likely to connect when you are respectful and formal. They are more likely to trust you when you clearly state your reason for reaching out and that you have some sort of trusted connection backing you up, whether that's a person or a group or interests. So for example, here's some sample scripts that we wrote, and we actually put this into your bonus that you get to download so that you can see some of the sample scripts. These have already been run through our AI, verified that it's appropriate for that bank code, and you can adjust accordingly. These are just things like for me. So for example, and let me just adjust my camera on my side so I can see my full screen better. Sorry about that. So let's say I say, hello, Scott. As the CEO of Codebreaker Technologies, I'm looking for other trustworthy leaders in the area. I found your profile through Stephanie Bonte-Lebert and was impressed by your credentials. I'd like to connect and schedule a call to discuss possible collaboration. Thank you, Cheri Tree. Okay, so again, it's going to have a professional essence to it. You want to make sure that you name drop your title, any credentials, the name of your company. You know, you don't want to just be like, hey, it's Scott. Like, who cares who's Scott? I don't know who Scott is. Be more professional with the blueprints. Now, with the A's are more likely to connect when you get straight to the point. Let them know what's in it for them. They will be impressed if you have lots of connections and an active account. Come off as a thought leader or influencer, or simply you just look cool. Okay. Might even just be your profile pictures, your header, you know, it might be you on a surfboard or whatever. Like action types are a breed of their own. So for example, I might say, hey, Scott, your profile jumped out at me while I was searching for top business influencers. My company, Codebreaker Tech, works with leaders like Barbara Corcoran and Les Brown to help clients close more sales faster. Would love to connect to see how we can gain some big wins together. Cheri. Okay. So there's an example of an action straight to the point. I'm not so technical and formal. I name drop some celebrities that we're connected to. That's going to make him say, I need to know you. Yes, let's have a call. When you're working on successfully connecting with a nurturer, the ends are most likely to connect when you seem to be seeking a genuine connection. But really, nurturers are happy to connect with anyone. Okay. They love to meet new people and build their community. They love networking. So just be yourself. Remember, nurturers love authenticity. So you need to be genuinely you and not robotically you. Okay. So for example, I'd say, hi, Scott. I was pleased to read in your profile about the impact you're having in so many lives. I'd love to add your kind of warm energy to my circle. You'd be a great addition to the community. I hope to connect and develop a genuine relationship. Okay, so again, the point is that there's warmth. I'm acknowledging the impact that they're making. They're someone that we would love to have as part of our tribe, and I would love to be part of their tribe, vice versa. And when you're connecting with the knowledge on LinkedIn, the Ks are most likely to connect when you offer them knowledge or share something interesting. Okay, so they need to be intrigued by your message as well as impressed by your expertise. Carefully edit messages to the knowledge types. They will get stuck on any grammar error. Okay, so for example, any mistakes that you have, spelling errors, grammar errors, stat errors, it's going to give them a twitch and it's going to make them not trust you. Okay. So hi, Scott. I came across your profile because we both attended the same webinar on how to get successful on LinkedIn. I thought you'd be interested in learning more, and I'd like to connect and to send you a fascinating research article on the subject. Okay. And there, again, there's an example of, I'm going to tickle their mind. I want to engage and intrigue them to want to know more. You mentioned that you have a fascinating article and you both came from the same webinar where we were both there learning a joint interest topic. You're going to hook them. That's a hook. And now they want access to that article. Okay. So these are things and ways to get people to engage with you based on their bank code. Now, Scott talked about how do we set up a phone call, and he walked you through the script of having the phone call. And by the way, one of you said, well, what if they insist on going first? And Scott's like, don't let them. Let me just share with you what I say. If they say, you know, we want to get to know each other, and I'd say, like, by all means, please go first. And I'm gonna point to them and have them go first. And if they said, you know, Cheri, tell me more about you, and I'll say, I would absolutely love you. And I was just thinking the exact same thing about you. Tell me how you got started in LinkedIn. And like, you can see, like, I just boomerang it right back to them. So that's a quick little thing that I wanted to give to you as a way to deflect and put it right back to them. Tell me more about you. I'd love to. I'd be honored to share more about you. I was just thinking the same thing about you. Okay, there's an example. So scheduling the appointment. All right. So let's talk about when you're scheduling an appointment with the blueprint. The Bs are most likely to accept your invitation to an appointment when you propose a clear agenda and be clear that there are no hidden costs. Like you saw, Stephanie literally wrote it. She's married to a blueprint. She's got 20 years of experience with a blueprint. There's no hidden costs. There's no hidden agenda. You can literally, I've had people send me an agenda, bulleted out with literally a 15-minute break built in. It was going to be a longer conversation. I'd never seen someone build in a break for a one-on-one meeting. Okay. Allow them to dictate the schedule and confirm the meeting the day before. It's a sign of respect. So always you want to confirm, hey, Scott, listen, we're scheduled for tomorrow at 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or your East Coast time, 1 o'clock p.m. East Coast time. I just want to confirm that you'll be there. I'm looking forward to meeting you. So confirm. That's the whole point of a confirmation. All right. And again, there's a sample script. Okay. So let's say that I want to reach out and schedule an appointment. Hello, Scott. Over the past few weeks, I've enjoyed reading your content. It's clear that you're a trusted authority in your field. I was impressed with your credentials and professional accomplishments in your profile as well. My company, Codebreaker Technologies, is looking to align with successful executives with solid business backgrounds, reliable track record of sales results like yourself. I would like to schedule a call at your convenience to discuss a possible collaboration regarding our proven system for up to 300% more sales in half the time. I have absolutely no hidden agenda. I just think you're a good fit. Please let me know your availability to discuss this further. Thank you. Respectfully, Cheri Tree. Okay, so again, this would be an example. This is a little bit wordy, but again, blueprints would rather have more details than less details. If it's too short, you're going to turn off the blueprints because you didn't give them enough. It's going to feel like a sales pitch. So when you're inviting actions to schedule an appointment, the A's are most likely to accept your invitation to an appointment when you show them the opportunity. You've got to give them FOMO, which stands for fear of missing out, to make an appointment sound too good to pass up. Don't skimp on the excitement, and a little flattery goes a long way with the actions. And this is so true. Stroking their ego, you won't even believe the payoff, okay? So, hey, congratulations on all your success. Your profile jumped out at me while I was searching for top business influencers, and it's clear that even in that awesome group, you're really winning the game of business and life. At my company, Codebreaker Tech, we help clients close more faster and gain a significant competitive advantage in the marketplace. Industry leaders like Barbara Corcoran and Les Brown have named our product Game Changers. Okay. Can we set up a time to talk about the opportunity to work together? I promise this is something you do not want to miss out on. Cheri Tree. Okay. So again, just an example. I want to hook and engage his FOMO. I'm going to throw in those celebrity people and going to make him, his curiosity needs to have a meeting with me. Nurturers, the N's are most likely to accept your invitation to an appointment when you make it about getting to know each other as people, more than the opportunity. Show that you care about them and about the community. Leave the money out of it. So for example, I'd say, hey, Scott, thanks so much for connecting with me. I'm always so happy to connect with people who share my passion for people and helping the world. In fact, our company, Codebreaker Technologies, has a special methodology that helps people increase their sales by developing emotional intelligence, communicating more effectively, and building stronger referral relationships with their network. Our mission is to change the world one conversation at a time. And I thought you'd be interested in contributing. I hope I can set up a time to share more about this passion project with you. I'd also just like to get to know you better as a person. Can we schedule some time together soon? Warm wishes, Cheri. Okay, and even the way that I read it, I want you to hear how the tone changes based on which bank code I'm communicating with. And that's very important. Even if you're doing it all in writing and they can't hear you talking, so important that you create the essence of that tone and that feeling when you're writing to them. Okay. And then when you do your live videos, when you do your calls, when you do your Zooms, very important that you step into that persona of the code. So when I'm talking, for example, to a K, I'm going to come across as far more intellectual than talking to Scott in real life and being like, yo, what's up, dude? Is that the same hoodie as yesterday? Totally different Cheri Tree. Same me, different code. Okay. So the K's, when you're wanting to schedule an appointment with the K's are most likely to accept your invitation to an appointment when you come across as an expert that they can learn something from. Be clear that you'll be sharing real research and data and offer to answer any questions that they might have on the call. So for example, I'm going to say, hi, Scott. I read your profile and wanted to reach out to schedule a meeting to discuss a possible collaboration. My tech company, Codebreaker Technologies, has an innovative approach to sales. Our bank methodology, based in personality science, has been scientifically validated to accurately predict buying behavior and pinpoint how to get the yes more efficiently. This technique optimizes sales conversion, shortens sales cycles, and increases sales velocity. At Codebreaker Technologies, we've developed a portfolio of bank tools, training, and cutting-edge technology, including an artificial intelligence that was identified by Forbes as the future of sales. We're partnering with thought leaders worldwide to disseminate science-based sales information, which is where I think we can find a possible strategic alignment. I'm sure you need more information to form a smart decision, so I recommend we schedule a call to discuss. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions that you may have and share all of the relevant data. Best regards, Cheri Tree. Again, a lot more technical, way more content in the information, very, very K in the way that I'm reaching out, okay? So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment. All right, thumbs up if you guys are digging this type of content and really seeing it through the lens of the bank code, okay? So what we gave you access to is we gave you access to the bonus that you got today was LinkedIn Secrets Bank Box. Bank Box is our monthly subscription product. Like, you guys know when you see subscription businesses that are like, order new razor blades and you have new razors showing up every single month, or you have a new meat package show up every month or whatever. We created something called Bank Box, and it's literally like a new goodie box of content that we ship out to our database of clients who are active on the $99 subscription every single month as a bonus. And every month we give a new Bank Box worth of content to our Codebreaker community so that you guys are having real-time, real applicable bank versions of data content drops every single month to keep you actively engaged and applying it through the filter. And we've done really cool topics. I mean, for example, Valentine's last year, we did love secrets and we sent out all of the bank codes through the filter, the 5 love languages through the filter of the bank codes as an example. We've done business topics. We've done personal life topics, holiday secrets, how to navigate the holidays and parties through the lens of the bank codes. You get the point. Well, what you got as a bonus, normally you would need to be subscribed to us for almost a year to get the drop of that bank box, the LinkedIn Secrets. And we made the exception that said for this special webinar, and for those of you that registered, we're going to give it to you right here as a bonus. And that way you can see the type of quality and content that we curate every single month for our code breakers. And that way we're equipping you and we're empowering you and we're giving you guys like the confidence and the courage and the content to get out there and make things happen through the lens of bank so that you don't have to just like say, I love bank and I don't know what to do with bank. Okay. So that's an example. Inside that document, there's those scripts. You can literally copy them. There's the digital version of these bank boxes inside the bank vault that you'll have access to as our subscribers. So I want to make sure that you know how to get access to those beyond the bonus ones that you got for this. For those of you that subscribe, that's a magical content. Now, yesterday, I said I'd also do a few other things like talk to you about the integration that we've done with Zoom and whatnot. But before I even go there, Scott, let's open it up for questions and let's take a few rounds of questions from this group just to check in with you guys. And then we'll show you more ways to use some of the tools and technology that'll just blow your mind. And then of course, we'll talk about, hey, for those of you that just want to keep mastering this stuff, what do you do next? We'll talk about that too. So Scott, you cool with opening it up for some questions right now?
Yeah, who's got anything related to anything bank or Codebreaker or LinkedIn? Just raise your hand, use your I guess the emojicon that you have, and we can call you out and you can ask whatever question you have.
Also, I've already received a question about how to actually install the LinkedIn Chrome extension. So maybe we could quickly go through that, Cheri.
I'll do that. Once we're done with a round of questions, I'll do some technical screen sharing and show you some of this type of stuff, guys. Yes. Okay. So raise your hand and we'll call you out for questions, but just click the little raise your hand thing under the reactions and come on out. And this is a chance to ask us. You can pick Scott's brain, Stephanie's brain, my brain. Yep. Andy.
Hey, this message is actually for Scott. So like I'm connecting with many people in the healing arts community. Mm-hmm. So there's an abundance of people like me that are in. And so I was just wondering about, do you think I should expand at all on who I'm connecting with? Just to connect with more different types of personalities?
Well, I mean, I think that's one of the benefits to LinkedIn is that, you know, we tend to kind of stay in our comfort zone. So A's will want to talk to A's, N's will want to talk to N's. But I think using the strategy that we've gone over these last 2 nights, that will allow you to start building that toolbox of language and messaging in talking to an A or talking to a K or a B, where, yes, like you said, you can start expanding outside of just people in the healing arts. You can start speaking to people that are, you know, in more A-type industries or K-type industries. So absolutely expand.
Okay. So that's fine to go, because I know you were talking about like connecting with people that are like you or in your industry.
I mean, you can stay right there, but also there are other people just like you in different industries that are running parallel alongside of that may have a different personality type where you're not extending too far out. But, you know, again, a personal trainer is more of like an A, but they are, you know, obviously in the healing arts, but in a different modality. So you can still obviously connect with that type of person as well.
Okay, great. And then just quickly for Cheri, I was just wondering about like, is there a tutorial for walking through the Bank Pro?
Yes, there is. So we as a company host a live orientation every Thursday. And when you log in, you can find out when the next one is, but we also have recorded that orientation, and that way you can just go through it at your own leisure. And this recording will show you how to use the tools, how to crack codes, where the data goes inside the dashboard, how do you export it, how do you log into Bank Vault, how do you access the courses, how do you use the AI, all of that is inside of our tutorial. And so we'll make sure that you get access to that. When you log in under resources, there's a number of different little quick videos on specific topics that you can watch, like little tutorial videos. And we also have a longer orientation style call that you can get access to.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. And we'll make sure that Stephanie and Scott send you guys all access to that orientation recording so that you know what's happening. And Stephanie, I believe you're also going to do maybe a live one also, right, for everyone so that you can take live Q&A. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So you guys will be getting emailed for that invitation for a live one also. Cool.
Rochelle.
Awesome. Rochelle.
Hi there. So I had a similar question about kind of branching out of the industry. I have a unique blend of nurturing and business. And so I kind of stretch both realms, if you will. And I struggle a little bit to connect with the action because of the pace. With the training that's coming, will that help me overcome those types of obstacles and connect better with the knowledge and the action areas of the...
Well, yes. And I'll give you an example, Rochelle, like the pace that you're speaking to me at right now makes my action want to take my 2 hands and poke my eyes out. Okay.
Yeah,
and
I get it.
I'm going to give you real feedback. An action would be like, oh my gosh, I can't even have a conversation. The nurturing part of me says like, oh, let me lean forward and listen to what you're trying to say, right? So just remember that everyone is all 4 codes, but if you want to intentionally engage the action, and we'll give you some strategies, like you might have to jump up and down and listen to some crazy music and go drink a Red Bull and then come have a conversation with me, right? Because I'm gonna need to feel energy. Like I need to feel adrenaline and I need to feel excitement and I need to feel almost like I have carbonation running through my body when I talk to you. And you need to be able to generate that. And so we'll teach you in the bank system, and it might take a little bit of practice. Sometimes it's awkward and uncomfortable to switch into a different code. You know, you might not have the confidence of doing it, but for example,
some of it comes from raising 5 kids and having to remain calm.
Yeah. And sometimes you lose it, right? And sometimes you just amp it up and your voice gets loud, and that's actually the energy of an action.
Yep. So we just have a dance party first.
Yeah, have a dance party, you know, and they'll often say when you're talking with an action, like stand up, you know, this is before Zoom, but people used to be on the phone. You'll see actions pacing back and forth.
Oh yeah.
You know, they're all over the place. If I turn my office computer around so you can see, I actually have my Peloton bike and my Peloton tread right behind me in my office, because I'll do Zoom meetings on my freaking Peloton. Right?
That's awesome.
So you just need to get your energy higher for an action to engage.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. Great question though. And I hope no one is personally offended. Like, I don't mean to personally offend. And often when I teach the bank codes, if we were in a class setting like this, I'll ask permission. Like, can I be truthful and honest about what the bank codes think? And then I'll reveal it. Like when I told Scott, you walk into a financial planner's office, blueprint style, in a hoodie, you're automatically going to lose credibility. You're going to lose revenue because of it. You can stick to it and do your thing, or you can suit up and double your income, as an example, right? So that's an example of totally stepping into the code.
Yeah.
Right?
And I just want to jump in really quickly. So like when people don't know this about me, but I walk between 5 and 7 miles a day without walking in my neighborhood. So when I'm on calls, I pace. Yeah, like I just walk up and down stairs. Like I can't sit still. It drives me nuts. And like Cheri, I have my gym is right over here. Yeah. So I have like I've learned how to kind of, you know, talk to someone that's nurturing or a knowledge type or a blueprint, but I'm action all the way. I am high intensity. You know, anyone that knows my wife, she's the complete opposite. Like we are yin and yang. So I am directly like, I am in your face. And my wife is kind of like the Mother Teresa. She's just very nurturing and very quiet and has to calm me down. But again, to Cheri's point, anyone that is struggling with their own personality type and how they can branch out, obviously bank will help that. So Cheri, that was great. And you know, really great example. Well,
that's what drew me to you, was your action.
Yeah. And you know, and that happens too, because either the light code attracts, or sometimes the opposite code has an attraction. And that's also, you know, how people end up in relationships. You know, they might say, well, I'm the yin and you're the yang. And this is a great concept, personally or professionally, of balancing each other out. But you want to develop the skills of being able to shift into all 4 codes.
Yeah. And, so I do talk with my hands a lot. I had someone comment on like one of my videos. They're like, content's great, but why do you move your hands so much? You're so distracting. I can't watch you. And it's just like, that's how I am. I talk with my hands. Like it's a form. This is how I get my energy going. Like I could not sit there like this. It would drive me nuts. Like I have to express myself. That's just, I don't know. That's the action in me.
Awesome. Okay. So let's take some more questions. Jeff, I see your hand up. Rania, and then Jody.
Mute there. Let me unmute. Okay, great. So I assume, of course, all of what we discussed today is going to be written down somewhere and we can get access to it.
Yes.
Okay. And my target is not direct customers. My target is power partners is where my target is. So I'm looking for people to get me connected to the people who will actually hire me. That's where I'm trying to go.
So what's your question?
So, well, the thing is, I'm just trying to get an idea of how on using this for that purpose. And I can't, and it really just works with LinkedIn. I don't think I'm going to really do anything else as far as any of the other social medias per se, but can it be used for any of the other social medias? At least maybe Facebook. I don't know about anybody else really.
Well, that's a 2-part question. I'll answer the bank part, and then Scott, you can answer the other part. But
sure.
First of all, bank works on any platform. You can use it anywhere with any human being. Secondly, we have a course inside the vault, inside the bank vault, which is with your subscription that you just purchased, called COIN, which is Center of Influence Networking. And that's basically, how do you get to the power partners? How do you get to that mega influencer the company owner, et cetera, that you want to be able to align with. And there are very specific strategies of how to get access to those people. And we teach that in that course. So inside the Bank Vault, you can simply find the course called COIN, Center of Influence Networking. And I would go through that. And that would be one of the tips that I would give you. Scott, what else would you like to add?
Yeah, and Jeff and I have spoke about this in the past. I think understanding who your power partner is, that, where you're looking to get customers and you're looking to get hired. You have to learn how to speak to those power partners as well. You have to speak their language, where they're going to give you the opportunity for an introduction to picking up a client or getting a sale. So whether it's direct outreach to client acquisition, whether it's that ideal client or that power partner avatar on LinkedIn, understanding how to to reach out to that person through messaging, B, how to speak to them once you get them on the phone, is going to build better relationships. It's going to get you more opportunities to have introductions to more clients and customers, through those power partners. So it's all tied together.
Thank you.
Awesome. Rania?
Yes. So my question, I might have missed it yesterday, but how, like the bank, does it do the coding through the profile or the content or both? So I can be also aware of how I like how Scott said that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just try to talk to all codes at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. So what was your specific question?
So my question is, does it do the coding through their profiles or their content as well?
Okay. Yeah. Right now, the AI Chrome extension, part of it only does their profile. So it'll read their whole profile, their background, their about section, their education, and it will run that through the AI. But the AI interface that's also included with your subscription, you can put any content in there. So you could pull up the article that they wrote or the post that they wrote or the comments that they made, and you can literally copy it, paste it into the AI interface, click the decode button, and it will tell you the bank code of that piece.
Oh, separate. I see. Okay.
Yeah, and that's how you want to use it. That's what Stephanie's saying, is she has our AI application open up the entire day. And so if she's going to look at a LinkedIn profile, she'll use the button. And if she needs to run any other type of copy or email or content through it, just copy, paste, put it into the interface. It's that fast.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Jody, come on out. Oh, wait, you're on mute. Still on mute.
Still muted, Jody.
Okay.
There we go.
To myself. Okay, very good. Let me do this again. So I'm super excited about, there we go. I'm super excited about all of this. I get it. But as I'm listening to you guys, I'm learning this, and I'm finding myself find myself in the B, in the A, and the K, in the N, right? So as I'm learning about myself, I'm like, oh, wow, I'm a lot of the B, and that's when I do the A. I do a little bit of everything, right? And as I said before, I'm able to get a conversation depending upon the other person on how I communicate with them. So with all of that said, I think you kind of covered this with Rochelle, that it's going to be okay for us just to bounce around.
Yeah.
Number one. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then okay, great. And then number two, that is the purpose of you telling us for us to learn these values so that we can basically implement them just in general conversation with someone at the store, recognizing it without actually having to use the AI anymore, so to speak. We'll still use it because of what, for the extensions and all that stuff you're talking about, which I need to learn, but am I on the right track? Because I feel myself, I'm excited, but I love the knowledge, and I'm like all over the place, but I'm just I'm so intrigued, Cheri, by what you've got here, because I was like you, even before getting started, I was saying, it doesn't make any sense, to go for the nose. It didn't feel good. I feel like I'm trying to go after people, and that's not what I want to do. I want that authentic, genuine. I want to meet them where they're at.
Yeah. So, you know what? It's the most amazing connection you could possibly have with another human being when you simply speak their code, and they feel so safe. That's why when sales training says that people will buy from you when they know you, like you, and trust you. Well, what creates the know, like, and trust is the match of the code, right? And so it's important to be able to channel your inner blueprint when you need to be structured and organized. It's important to channel your inner action when you've got to light a fire under your butt and start dialing for dollars. It's important to channel your inner nurturing when you need to have compassion and empathy and connect with another human being in a meaningful way. It's important to channel your knowledge, to like turn on your brain and think, be strategic, right?
I love it.
So tap into that part of you and then recognize it in the other person, and then constantly have a filter. A lot of times when I teach and with all of our bank trainers, you know, we'll have colored lenses and we'll put on the glasses. I'll literally put on a blue set of lenses when I'm talking about blueprint things, and I'll put on a red set of lenses when I'm talking about the action things, you know. So there's some really cool ways to kind of apply it. But the key is to make it conscious, so that you are ever present, that there's a filter of bank codes. And there you go. You got Glenn Andrew putting on some blue glasses right there. By the way, our business is growing like crazy. I would want to know, by curiosity, if any of you would ever want to teach this type of content, right? If you would want to teach bank, coach bank, become a trainer in bank, I want you to type coach or trainer in the chat box, just out of curiosity, if any of you would be interested in that, because this is something that's so cool to get certified in. We can talk more about that before we end, but if this is something that you guys are interested in, this just takes it to a level of mastery. Okay.
Cheri, I also wanted to jump in because, and I know we have some more questions that we are going to take, but Cheri and I were talking offline last night, because people, we got so many emails of people, you know, what do they do after, you know, these 2 nights? Yes, they have the membership now, and they have all the tools. And there are people on here that still want to learn how to leverage LinkedIn better. They want to learn the system, but there's people on here that also, you know, want to leverage Codebreaker and bank better. So what we wanted to do in the spirit of Cheri and I getting married last night, we wanted to create a unified program for all of you. So if that would excite you, type I'm excited in the chat box, just so I know, because we wanted to kind of take both of our superpowers and combine them into one. And what we decided to do was to create an accelerator program. And this is a combination of my LinkedIn virtual program. And some of you may have it, and that's fine. That's why we wanted to cater to everybody that would be a part of this, because there's people that have resources of mine that don't have Cheri's, and there's people that have resources of Cheri's but don't have mine. So what Cheri and I talked about doing was this accelerator bonus. So Cheri, why don't you first tell them about the Sales Accelerator, what the program is, and how it could help. You know, some of the people on here are already familiar with it, and how exciting it is, and what it's going to be about, and what they can learn by being a part of it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So Scott, thanks for bringing that up. All right. So the Accelerator program, let me actually I'm going to share my screen for a second here. This is for those of you that say, hey, I want to go even deeper into this bank rabbit hole, the matrix of bank. So we built something called the Sales Accelerator. And what we do is we take you through a journey with us on very specific intentional topics to help you pull bank into your ecosystem, into your business, and basically fuel inject what you're doing with your results. And we're going to take you through 4 specific sessions to accelerate your success. So session number 1 is on goals, helping people get really clear on what your goals are, and goal setting strategies and tips specific for your bank codes. Okay. Because how a B structures it and does their milestones and hits their goals is very different than an action or nurturing or knowledge. You might be feeling like, you know, why is it that I have these New Year's resolutions, and why is it that I'm not hitting it? And I'm passionate about helping people hit their goals and also getting past the things that hold them back. And I have a goal that was crazy. And I'll just give you an example. There was a time back in 2006 where I said I want to make $1 million in a year, and I'd never done that at all. And by the end of January, my income was $8,000. Okay. To make $1 million a year, you have to be averaging over $80,000 a month. And I made $8,000. And so I said, wow, I'm really behind for February. Not only do I need to make 80 something thousand for this month, but I need to make up my shortfall of January. And so I decided to get really crazy. And I thought, all right, well, $1 million is basically $250,000 a quarter. I'm going to be crazy, and I'm going to set a goal for the month of February to hit $250,000 in February. Now, I made $8,000. Everyone thought I was freaking crazy, but I followed a specific exact strategy to be able to hit that. And by the end of February, my income was $261,000. So I went $250,000 forward with my goal setting strategies in a single month. And it was February, 28 days, like the shortest month of the entire year. So we're going to focus on how do you actually set your goals so that you're not just spinning your wheels and wasting time, acting busy and not being productive at all. Number 2 session is going to be dedicated specifically to sales conversion, getting to yes faster, closing more sales in less time, and accelerating something that we call sales velocity. I'm going to show you the 4 critical elements that you must master in the sales process in your business. I don't care what your business is. There are 4 specific things that you've got to master in that, and we're going to take you through that also through the lens of the bank code. Session 3 is networking. Every entrepreneur has to network, okay? And networking is a critical skill set. How do you access top influencers and let your network drive your net worth? Again, whether you're doing it virtually, digitally, or live face-to-face, we are going to give you strategies. And I'm going to teach you one of those advanced strategies on how do you go find the influencers through the lens of the bank codes. Because when you can tap into those influencers, your network expands rapidly. And session 4 is going to be on social, but on a different application than what we talked about here on LinkedIn, how to generate more leads and build stronger relationships using social media. Okay, so this is going to be the Bank Accelerator for those of you that are business owners, sales professionals, network marketers. We're going to take you through this accelerator course. And what's cool is this is going to be done live by me. It's going to start in March. We're going to send you out the dates and times. But I'm actually going to be hosting this, and this is the only chance you're going to get the accelerator live with me, because once it's recorded, then it becomes one of our digital products that we sell to our community.
Cheri,
So
repeat that one more time just so they can see the value, the fact that they are going to be working with you in a group coaching setting for those 4 sessions. So,
exactly. Those 4 sessions are going to be done live, which means you're going to get the real-time content and interaction Q&A just like we're doing here, and nobody else on the planet gets that, because once we record it, then it becomes a digital product for our company. So we're going to do it live with this group right here.
Now, where I come into this is, Cheri said, is there anything that you can contribute to enhance this accelerator program? And I said, well, my program is called LinkedIn Accelerator. And my program, just to let you know, it is a plug and play. It is completely built out. It is 8 modules. I recorded myself. It's very clean. This is how to optimize your profile, SEO wise, from top to bottom, start to finish. So you start appearing in more searches. You start having more people visit your profile so you can actually generate more leads that way. And then I go through everything. Like literally, I recorded myself going through every single structure, how to search for people, how to connect, how to message. And now you can use all those different messaging scripts, plug it into this system, and it works. But also the call structure and the follow-up using the bank methodology and my system, posts, and how to use the automated messages, those push notifications, publishing articles and videos. I show you how to do everything. And the great thing about this is it is evergreen. I update this course every single year. So if there's something new, LinkedIn audio rooms are new. And this is basically, a plug and play, top to bottom. It takes an hour and 45 minutes to go through my entire course. That's it. If you sit down under 2 hours, you can complete this and you can go through it as many times as you want. Now, there's 2 other things that you get with this. Even though this is a plug and play digital system, you have full access to me, lifetime access to me through LinkedIn Messenger. So if you want me to take a peek at your profile after you're done fixing it, you get a message response back and you're not sure what to say. You have a piece of content that you created and you want some feedback on it. All you have to do is connect with me on LinkedIn, send me a message, and ask me your question. If that makes sense, if that's clear, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat box. So now you have access to all of that and Cheri's Sales Accelerator. You combine those 2 programs. Now, here's the deal. Stephanie said, what could we do to sweeten the pot? So this is what we're going to do. Cheri's Sales Accelerator program, which you are going to be a part of the live training. And it's going to be turned into an evergreen program. So this is the only time that you can actually work with her one-on-one in this group setting. It's typically $1,000 course. And that's not even pre-recorded. It's going to be $1,000. I mean, imagine the value of what it should be if you're live with her. My Accelerator program is typically $1,000. So what we decided to do is combine them into one bundled package and take 75% off. So for both of these programs, whether you've worked with me on LinkedIn and you haven't worked with Cheri, or you've worked with me or worked with Cheri, but you haven't worked with me, Stephanie's going to drop the link. We're only charging $497 for both programs. You get instant access to my LinkedIn course for life. And Cheri's going to be connecting with you, letting you know when she's going to be taking you through those 4 sessions. So for anyone that jumps in on this offer tonight, Stephanie wanted to sweeten the pot. And what Stephanie suggested, she said, Scott, if anyone buys tonight, she goes, how about you and I do a 60-minute group coaching session, live and recorded, next Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, asking and answering any and all questions in regards to LinkedIn and or anything about Codebreaker, the technology, and bank. So that's what we decided to offer. We wanted to make this a journey for all of you, not only leveraging and taking advantage of all the amazing things with Codebreaker and bank and understanding that, but knowing that LinkedIn is going to be your number one advantage of using social media and really leveraging those conversations, leveraging the messaging scripts, leveraging the conversations, closing more sales. That's where you're going to close more sales. And if you combine the Sales Accelerator course that Cheri's going to take you through, plus my LinkedIn Accelerator course, you combine that in one, you're going to have access to both. There is no way you're going to fail. So if you would like to be, so if you already have, again, this is why this program as a whole is $2,000. That's why we took 75% off and we're just making it a one-time payment of $497. Whether you have mine or you have Cheri's, you don't have mine, you don't have Cheri's, all you have to do is you pay the $497, you get access to Cheri's $1,000 course. If you have Cheri's and you don't have mine, you get access to my $1,000 course and you're only paying $497. So if you are ready to jump in on that, type I am ready in the chat box. Stephanie is going to drop the link. And again, as a bonus, and again, you're working live with Cheri over those 4 sessions. And you're also going to be working live with myself and Stephanie next Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern for 60 minutes of deep dive Q&A coaching, LinkedIn, bank, whatever you would like to do. Now, On top of that, you've already got all the resources. You're going to get access to these recordings as well. We want you to become bulletproof in your businesses. We want you to have that $261,000 month. We want you to have that year that you can really sit back and say, you know what? I know what changed. And it was me understanding how to leverage LinkedIn the right way, but also how to connect and talk to people the right way. So again, I just wanted to thank Cheri for coming up with this idea, putting this whole thing together, being so generous in offering her time and allowing all of you to be a part of this program before it becomes just a digital product. But also for those that have never gone through my LinkedIn program, I wanted to make that available to you the way that Cheri has made Sales Accelerator available to you, and only making this a simple $497 investment into both programs that you will have access for life and access to the both of us.
Can I just say, because I just like to be in full transparency, that this morning, Scott and Cheri were going to sell this package for $1,000. They were. They'd already made the sales page. I was looking at the sales page. Scott said, look at the sales page. I want you to give me feedback. And I said, you know what? I think it needs to be lower than $1,000. And the reason is because we have both communities here at the same time. And some of you had Scott's stuff and some of you had Cheri's stuff. And I said, let's sell it for $497. And they agreed, and we changed the price. So for anybody who's saying, oh, but I already have one of the programs, well, guess what? We already thought of that ahead of time. We already gave you 75% off this bundle because we knew that some of you were going to have some of this material already. So and this is a true story. Okay. It was going to be $1,000. All right. So it is not $1,000.
So true that I didn't even know about it until right before. And I went to the I went to the landing page and saw $497. I said, is this a different link? Or, but I'm really excited, just like you guys said. And the truth is, this is us investing back into you guys. Guys, 2022, like, if not now, when? Get out there and make it happen. I'm passionate about our code breaker community. You guys know I love you. We would do anything to help you guys succeed. Bringing Scott in, and that's why I'm so thankful for Stephanie. I'm just going to talk to the code breakers for a moment. Like, if I can help you guys be better on LinkedIn so that you can go out there and build your businesses, for those of you that are coaches and trainers with us that are out there looking at expanding and building your bank businesses, etc., like, that is a huge win just to learn these strategies. And when you start to see those types of topics coming from an expert who's generated millions of dollars teaching people on LinkedIn, he knows what he's talking about way more than I do. I'm not a LinkedIn expert. I'm a bank expert. And then for those of you that are part of Scott's tribe and you're like, man, I already love his content. That's why I registered. But holy crap, the bank stuff is blowing my mind. We are the #1 experts in the world on bank, right? You're talking to the creator of it, 20 years in the making. The stuff is mind blowing. When you meld these two together, everything is about opportunity cost. So now the question really is for $497, which is ridiculous, tax deductible, the whole thing, is how many sales do you have to get out there and close to make your money back, right? And Brian Tracy taught me a formula, and he said, it's the training investment formula. When should you invest in training? He said, if the ROI is greater than the cost or the investment of the training, do it every single time. So if you feel confident that these strategies can make you back $500 in the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a year, then it's worth it. You're going to professionally grow. You're going to expand your network. You're going to generate better leads. You're going to close more sales. You're going to get more referrals. All of this is going to come from that. So we don't need to oversell it or hard sell it or do any of that. It's so ridiculous. But Scott, I just want to say thank you to you as we wrap this. Thank you for pouring into our community and teaching them how to leverage LinkedIn to grow their bank businesses and their other respective businesses that they're affiliated with. And I hope that to your community that we were able to bring some value to by bringing the bank concept to LinkedIn. So thank you for that.
Well, Cheri, I feel the same exact way. And, when we had our first conversation a few months back, I know it would be something amazing. And I truly never knew it was going to amount to this. And the fact that we had so many people register, so many people show up on day 2. And, my hope is that people really do see the opportunity that is here right in front of you right now. to work with two industry experts, and it's going to get you the results. And these are two proven concepts, the concepts of what Cheri has created. It's the concepts that I've created. It's I was gracious, by Book Authority to have the #1 LinkedIn book written of all time. That was a very unexpected thing. And we want to see people do what is required and to get the results that they want. And excited for the people that do jump in. Again, Stephanie's going to drop the link below. Again, anyone that does buy tonight, we are doing a special call, myself and Stephanie, next Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be doing live Q&A and coaching, LinkedIn, Code Breaker, whatever your questions are. We're going to answer any and all questions, teach you, train you, whatever needs to be done. So before we wrap up, let's finish with the last few questions that we have. Melanie, why don't you start off finishing us up?
Hi guys, thanks so much for a great evening. So my question is for you, Cheri, it's probably an hour-long answer that it could be, so I expect a very short answer, but I'm a huge fan of personality testing. I've done it for my entire career. I've done every profile you can do. I'm a DCSI on DISC. I'm an ENTP on Myers-Briggs. And when I first took the very short version of yours, where you just drag and drop the 4, I was a KBAN, which surprised me because in my mind, an A from the description of the words would have been equivalent to a D on DISC or an E on Myers-Briggs. And that was my third one. I was a KBAN. So then I took the more detailed version of your test where you answer the 20 questions or however many there were. And the middle two switch positions, which made more sense to me. I was a KABN. So I'm just curious, since you said that your profile is about buying, what makes someone buy, how, like in a very short version, how do you explain that difference between these different profiles?
Yeah, well, you're right. We don't have that much time to go into it, but based on buying behavior. So what was scientifically validated is what would make you pull the trigger, and the advanced assessment with the scoring shows a little bit more accuracy than just the self-assessment. Sometimes when people do the self-assessment, they sort it based on who they wish they were, right, or sometimes who they feel guilty about not being. Sometimes they might see the colors and be distracted that a blue in this system is the same as a blue in another system, and it's not. So you might see little margin of error, but I actually always love seeing how someone self-assesses on the cards and the score version, and then how you show up in real life. One of the things we didn't get time to talk about, but Stephanie will make sure that she talks about next Tuesday, is our integration with Zoom. What's awesome is that will capture your real-time bank code in every single conversation you're having, and you might just be interested and fascinated to see how you're showing up. What is the way that you're communicating every single time you're having a conversation? And are there things that maybe you're not aware of about yourself, or maybe that you're like, wow, okay, that's consistent. This is why I love science, just like you. I'm fascinated by this. And also I'm also someone who says, be very cautious to compare us to other programs. And that's why I say we're exactly the same, only completely different. For example, most other programs, and I'll end with this short explanation. Most other programs like DISC, there's polarity. If you're high this, then you're low this. In ours, it's called orthogonal, where you can literally be high in all of them or low in everyone. It doesn't have a polarity axis to it. We don't measure things like introversion, extroversion, because I didn't care about those things. I cared about what makes you want to say yes and move forward, or no and walk away. And that's kind of how this was built, and then later scientifically validated. But without even science validation, I just was using it, and my income was the results. And that's how I knew it was working. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Cool. And last question coming out here is Peg.
Cheri and Scott, thank you so much. You know, I love you both so dearly. And Melanie's question about the 4 cards versus the the in-depth assessment. I've been answering questions behind the scenes with people I know from Scott's community and people I know from Bank asking questions about LinkedIn, because I'm very much integrated with both Cheri and Scott in both communities. So I'm glad you talked about that. And I know everyone who's not so familiar with Bank, your mind is already blown. But what we didn't talk about yet tonight, and you'll learn about in the very near future, is that the AI has a component where you can speak into your phone and the AI will transcribe that instantaneously. And so now that COVID is opening up and we're back into face-to-face networking, if you're in a networking meeting or a one-to-one or something like that, you can have somebody speak into your phone what they do or who they serve, their kind of avatar, and then decode that in the AI. And it's just mind-blowing, phenomenal as well. So I know it's late and over time, but I just wanted to talk about those two things, the assessment as well. And I love Brian Tracy, and that ROI quote that you gave, Cheri, is just so true about your return on investment. So thank you both very much. And thank you, Stephanie, for making this happen. Whoop, whoop.
You're welcome. Thank you, Peg. And the truth is, and all of you guys know this, you're going to be sold and pitched things your entire life, right? That is what happens in the global marketplace. People are out there hustling and promoting. And that's a great filter that you can put on, is just ROI. You want to make sure it's worth your time, your effort, your energy, and your money. And if it moves the needle for you, then do it. Sometimes it moves the needle personally and not even professionally. And you might end up with a better marriage out of it, or avoid a divorce, or heal a dysfunctional relationship. And you might come back and say, it made it all worth it. And I would say, you're right. That's the priceless part. So let's wrap this call for the sake of time. I want to respect everybody. My little son's getting ready for bath time again. You guys remember from yesterday, I want to spend some time with him. Whatever other questions you have, they're going to be answered Tuesday. I'm not going to be on that one, but Scott and Stephanie represents, she's one of our top trainers in our community. For those of you that said you want to know more about coach or trainer, log on to next Tuesday's call. Stephanie will give you a little bit of insight on that. And in the meantime, thank you for investing in yourself. Thank you for believing in us and allowing us to train and mentor you to another dimension. And Scott, thank you for giving your best to our community as well.
Absolutely. And one final thing is, the special that we put together is going to be available until Sunday. So again, the action takers, they jumped in right away. So if you do need to think about this a little bit, we want to make this available to you. We'll be sending some emails for communication, and we are going to extend that offer. So we are grateful for the people that do dive in right away. We're excited to work with you. But again, we're going to offer this until Sunday evening. So you'll be getting some email reminders. And again, thank you to everyone that registered, everyone that shared this out, everyone that attended and spent these 4 hours with us. These are the types of things that really fill my cup. I love giving back. I love when there's action takers on here. I love when people want to learn and do better and they want to be better. And Stephanie, again, bottom of my heart, so glad that we connected and you made this connection. But I just want to say, Cheri, you have over-delivered on everything that you have done, and grateful to now call you a friend and just a wonderful person that has created something that fills the need and the voids that a lot of people have in their life and business. And thank you for creating this, and thank you for doing what you're doing. And thank you to every single person that attended. We are grateful for each and every one of you, and we hope you enjoyed it.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott. Does that mean I should accept your friend request on LinkedIn?
You can do that too. Yes. You can do that
I'll
too.
go ahead and add you to my professional network now. Just teasing you, man. Thank you.
Let's give a round of applause for Scott and Cheri, or hearts, or whatever emoticons you want to put up on your screen. And we will see you next Tuesday night for the bonus call for those of you who decided to move forward and you want to dive deeper and have more success. I also noticed some people that were interested in coach. I'll reach out to you. There is a call tomorrow night. I'll send you the link in case you want to come. But we have multiple calls, so I'll talk about that next Tuesday as well. So with that, we like to end our calls with a 1, 2, 3 in bank. So you can unmute yourself, and on the count of 3, we will share bank. All right. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, and
thank you.
Thank you, Cheri.